Welcome to this comprehensive audio guide about the Trevi Fountain, Rome's most famous and spectacular fountain, and possibly the entire world. You are standing before a Baroque art masterpiece that combines architecture, sculpture, and urban design in a creation of unparalleled beauty and grandeur. This experience will take you to discover not only the visible details of the fountain, but also the historical, artistic, and cultural secrets that make this monument one of the most recognizable symbols of the Eternal City. The Trevi Fountain has a history dating back to ancient Rome. The name Trevi comes from Trevi, meaning three streets in Italian, referring to the fact that the fountain is located at the confluence of three important streets. However, the fountain's history is much older than the Baroque building we see today. In this same place, the ancient Romans built an aqueduct called Aqua Virgo, which brought water from a spring located more than 20 kilometers away. This aqueduct, built in 19 BC by Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, was one of the 11 aqueducts that supplied water to ancient Rome. The Aqua Virgo aqueduct, meaning virgin water, received its name according to legend because a young virgin showed the Roman soldiers the location of the pure water spring. This aqueduct has been functioning continuously for more than 2,000 years, making it one of the oldest Roman aqueducts still in use. The Trevi Fountain is, in essence, the end point of this millennial aqueduct, where the water finally emerges after its long journey from the hills east of Rome. The fountain we see today was designed by Italian architect Nicola Salvi and completed in 1762 after more than 30 years of construction. However, the project had been conceived much earlier. Several popes had attempted to build a monumental fountain at this location, but it was Pope Clement XII who finally commissioned the project in 1732. Construction was a long and complex process that involved multiple architects, sculptors, and artisans, and was finally completed under the papacy of Clement XIII. The Trevi Fountain is a masterpiece of late Baroque style, characterized by its drama, movement, and decorative richness. The fountain is built against the facade of the Palazzo Poli, a 17th-century palace that was partially modified to accommodate the fountain. The combination of the palace architecture with the fountain creates a unique architectural composition where the boundaries between the building and the fountain blur, creating an integrated work of art. The fountain's composition represents the theme of the ocean and nature. In the center, the dominant figure is Neptune, the Roman god of the sea, riding a shell-shaped chariot pulled by two seahorses. The horses are being guided by two tritons, mythological creatures, half man and half fish. One of the horses is calm and docile, representing the calm sea, while the other is wild and rebellious, representing the stormy sea. This duality symbolizes the two states of the ocean and the dual nature of Neptune's power. On both sides of Neptune are two niches containing allegorical statues. On the left is the statue of abundance, holding a cornucopia, the horn of plenty, symbolizing the prosperity and wealth that water brings to the city. On the right is the statue of health, holding a cup from which a snake drinks, symbolizing the health and well-being that pure water provides. These allegorical figures add layers of symbolic meaning to the fountain. The top of the fountain is crowned by the coat of arms of Pope Clement XII, flanked by two female figures representing Femime. These figures hold a crown over the papal shield, symbolizing the glory and recognition of the pontiff who commissioned the fountain. The papal shield is a common element in Roman fountains and monuments, as many of them were commissioned by popes as symbols of their power and generosity. The sculptural details of the Trevi Fountain are extraordinary. Every figure, every relief, every decorative element was carved with precision and attention to detail. The rocks and plants decorating the fountain are so detailed they appear real. The tritons, nereids, and other sea creatures that populate the fountain are represented with a realism and expressiveness that show the mastery of Baroque sculptors. The water of the Trevi Fountain flows constantly, creating a relaxing sound and a dynamic visual effect. The water falls from multiple levels, creating cascades and jets that add movement and life to the static sculptural composition. The sound of running water is an integral part of the fountain experience, creating an atmosphere that combines the visual and auditory in a complete sensory experience. The most famous tradition associated with the Trevi Fountain is throwing a coin into the fountain. According to legend, if you throw a coin with your right hand over your left shoulder, you will return to Rome. If you throw 2 coins, you will find love in Rome. If you throw 3 coins, you will marry in Rome. This tradition, although relatively modern, has become an essential part of the experience of visiting the fountain. It is estimated that thousands of euros are thrown into the fountain each day, money that is regularly collected and donated to charitable organizations. The Trevi Fountain has appeared in numerous films, which has contributed to its worldwide fame. The most famous scene is probably from Federico Fellini's La Dolce Vita, where Anita Ekberg wades into the fountain. This iconic scene has become one of the most recognizable images of Italian cinema. Other films such as 3 Coins in the Fountain and On Her Majesty's Secret Service have also used the fountain as a setting, increasing its status as a cultural icon. The conservation of the Trevi Fountain is an ongoing challenge. Constant water, exposure to the elements, and contact with millions of visitors each year require regular maintenance. In 2014, the fountain was the subject of a major restoration financed by the fashion house Fendi, which invested more than 2 million euros in cleaning and restoring the fountain. During this restoration, details that had been hidden for decades were discovered, and an LED lighting system was installed that enhances the fountain's beauty at night. The nighttime lighting of the Trevi Fountain is spectacular. The LED lights installed during the 2014 restoration create dramatic effects that enhance the sculptures and the movement of the water. The fountain illuminated at night has a completely different character than during the day, creating a magical and romantic atmosphere that attracts visitors until late at night. The square where the Trevi Fountain is located is relatively small, creating an intimate and enveloping experience. The buildings surrounding the square create a closed space that directs all attention toward the fountain. This architectural arrangement is intentional and part of Baroque design, which seeks to create dramatic and theatrical spatial experiences. The Trevi Fountain also has importance in the history of urban planning. The fountain was designed not only as an isolated monument, but as part of a broader plan to beautify and organize Rome's urban space. The fountain's location at the confluence of 3 streets makes it a natural focal point of the neighborhood, and its grandiose design reflects the importance given to urban planning during the Baroque period. The materials used in the construction of the Trevi Fountain are mainly travertine, a local limestone that is characteristic of many Roman monuments. Travertine has the advantage of being relatively easy to carve when freshly quarried, but it hardens over time, making it ideal for outdoor sculptures. Marble was used for some decorative details, adding contrast and richness to the composition. The Trevi Fountain also reflects the values and aspirations of the Baroque period. The Baroque style, which emerged in response to the Protestant Reformation, sought to create art that was emotionally impactful, visually spectacular, and that communicated the power and glory of the Catholic Church. The Trevi Fountain, with its grandeur, decorative richness, and integration of religious and mythological elements, is a perfect example of these Baroque ideals. The experience of visiting the Trevi Fountain changes according to the time of day and season. Early in the morning, when there are fewer tourists, you can better appreciate the architecture and sculptural details. During the day, the square is full of life and activity, with tourists, vendors, and street artists. At night, the illuminated fountain creates a romantic and magical atmosphere. Each moment of the day offers a different experience. The Trevi Fountain also has symbolic importance for Romans. The fountain represents not only beauty and art, but also the importance of water in urban life. In a city like Rome, where water has always been a precious resource, public fountains were not only decorative, but also functional, providing drinking water to citizens. The Trevi Fountain, although primarily decorative, remains the endpoint of a functional aqueduct. The 2014 restoration also included the installation of a more efficient water recirculation system, which reduces water consumption while maintaining the constant flow necessary for the visual effect. This type of modernization shows how historical monuments can be preserved while adapting to modern needs and concerns about resource conservation. The Trevi Fountain is also an example of how public art can become a universal cultural symbol. The fountain transcends its original function as a monument to become an icon recognized worldwide, a symbol of Rome, of Italy, and of the beauty of Baroque art. Its image is reproduced on postcards, souvenirs, and media, making it part of the global collective imagination. When you visit the Trevi Fountain, take time to observe the details. Look at the expressions of the sculptural figures, the movements of the water, the way light interacts with the marble and travertine surfaces. The fountain is a work of art that can be appreciated on multiple levels, as a historical monument, as a Baroque artwork, as a cultural symbol, and as a sensory experience. The Trevi Fountain also represents the continuity of the Roman tradition of creating spectacular public spaces. From the forums and public baths of ancient Rome to the squares and fountains of the Baroque period, Rome has always valued the creation of public spaces that combine functionality, beauty, and symbolic meaning. The Trevi Fountain is part of this millennial tradition. Thank you for listening to this comprehensive audio guide about the Trevi Fountain. We hope you have discovered the historical, artistic, and cultural secrets of this extraordinary fountain, and that this experience has deeply enriched your visit. The Trevi Fountain is a place that deserves to be visited at different times of the day, because each visit offers a different perspective, and every detail tells a story worth hearing. Enjoy the rest of your stay in Rome, and remember that you have been in the presence of one of the world's most famous and beautiful public artworks. And if you threw a coin, we hope to see you again in Rome.